morning, everyone over in EU. This is apparently I'm told it's the only game of today, and it will be Division One Heroes Out in GU match between Dust and Hoffman, and Diablo needs attention. Now at the moment, it's pretty early into the season. Dust and Hoffman currently sitting at a 1-2 match score, while Diablo needs affection are, I suppose they're technically doing better on a 1-1 match score, so one of these teams will be getting their second win today, and we should be in some bigger games, of course. This is Division 1, so some of the best games that we're going to get here in EU. Map pick and ban has already been done. Diablo needs affection, banning away Braxis and Infernal Shrines, while Dust and Hoffman have banned Tomb of the Spider Queen and Volskaya Foundry, which is somewhat interesting ban if I do say so myself. And they have decided to first pick Towers of Doom for us. Now, Towers of Doom is definitely a map where the second pick in draft is an enormous advantage, so while it is definitely a map that people do tend to vary in how much they like some people really like it, such as me, and then some people absolutely hate it, so like, I can understand why you want to pick it, but you would expect that there is such a draft age for DNA going into this game now. Shouldn't surprise you that DNA are playing basically the same things as they always are. Galaxy is still basically Sylvanas one trick. The more interesting thing, though, is Dustin Hoffman have a very high junk map priority compared to what I would expect. So that makes me rather happy, and we will see what happens as our last player has arrived. It looks like the teams are ready, so we should be getting underway in just a minute now. And this is my first cast, I believe, on the current live patch, which has the Gazlo and Diva reworks. Actually, no, it might not be true. I think I did one North American series, but
Doom.
so we're now in the draft, and so the Gazlo and Diva reworks out. I believe the common consensus is that Diva's really strong, and Gazlo has not really seen the light of day, which is a bit sad, I think. The hero is pretty much carried by his own full talent into being good enough to be picked, so we'll see if maybe a cheeky Gazlo comes out. It wouldn't surprise me too much with DNA at least. And of course the other big change is the medallions, and there have of course been a few clips going on. Sylvanas getting banned away nice and early. Good to see that one gone. And that you can really tell who the people are that have played League before. You can see by both how well people are using their medallion, as well as whether they're tracking them or not. I'm playing a few of the NA in-houses because we're getting close to the CCL starting soon, and let me tell you, there are a lot of people that could do with playing a few games of League to learn how to track some of the spells. Because we are getting quite well through these bans so far. DNA banning away May and UL, while so far, okay, this is rather interesting. Vikings is going to be the final ban for Dustin Hoffman, which leaves Ana open, which leaves Diva open, Cassia open. There are so many top tier picks available. Diva is going to be the first one, so we're already getting something a little bit new and interesting here. So now it does still, you would expect Dustin Hoffman to pick up Ana, who is still, despite Blizzard's best attempts, far and away the strongest support in the game. I don't think that's going to change for a while, and we already have Lee Big, which yep, this is a very nice rotation from the side of Dustin Hoffman. It is a fairly early, a little bit of problem, right? A fairly early pickup of the Li Ming to go down. You don't have to choose the Nano Boost target quite that early, and we see that Marlowe is jumped over to Tracer, which is something that we have seen quite a bit from DNA actually. Head now along with Malfurion, so already we have a really annoying Tracer. And you thought it was hard to swap the fly before, but now D.Va being a fairly problem pick. Defense matrix not quite as good as it used to be, but still halving all the damage that you would be doing to a Tracer if they are of course defense matrix. Now, tank ban on, I mean possibly both sides, depending on how spicy you're feeling, but EDC and Imperius are the next bans. Imperius, very, you'd have to assume the only time you're picking Imperius on this map, where the wave clear is so important for offlane, is as main tank, so 2 tank bans here, and Varian is the lock for the time being. Looking for mostly the charged taunt interaction onto the Tracer, you'd have to guess. Reyna, historical Tracer counter, but one of Reyna's problems is he doesn't have the ability. This isn't Vala with a Volt or Lunara with the Leaping Strike or anything, so it's quite easy for Mac to keep this Reyna just in the defense matrix, so we will have to see what Total Knight has in store with us, as there will be Tyrael and Cassia, so this is a very nice draft from DNA. Very good stain. They have very low CC though. Tyrael and D.Va both lack hard CC, which means that, and I do like this pick actually, so we see Sonya come out. There's no stuns on the side of DNA. D.Va of course can spec for Hit the Nitrous at level 7 to get something, but this Sonya for the most part is completely free to spin to win, and might just be a bit of an unkillable rage boss in some of these later fights. So I do like this use of the last pick. Music is too loud. Okay. Why don't no one tell me this? Alright. Well, that is turned down for the time being. Well. Feel rather silly now because I was told just before this that the audio bouncing was quite well done. Anyway, so game number 1. These are both really good drafts, I think. Overall, we do see DNA with a very cohesive team comp, and we saw a very intelligent use of the last pick by the side of Dustin Hoffman. So there's no obvious lead from the very get-go, but I do, if I were to make a prediction, favour the side of DNA, mostly because I want to see how D.Va does. But game number 1 in this best of 3, D.Va, yeah, this is kind of what we've been seeing from most of our D.Va so far. Anyway, on the left side we have Diablo in Defection, Marlowe playing Tracer, Ablar playing Tyrael, Tenderloin playing Malfurion, Galaxy playing Cassia, and Mag the Kid playing for all shiny D.Va. On the right side, Dustin Hoffman coming in here on the red team, Total Knight playing Reyna, Norduckus playing Li Ming, Start playing Ana, Naga playing Varian, We have a little shenanigans going on already. And Babastus playing Sonya. And we have the early start on the bottom side for the red team. Just thinking that they aren't going to be able to contest for level 1, which I do have to agree with. But now the thing is that you're left with your Li Ming trying to clear mid lane on their own. So 4v3 at the moment in the bot lane. So very good start in the wave clear for DNA. Already cleared up bottom as well, and now just going to make their way as a group back into middle. Now Sonya can spin rather quickly to just clear things out, but kind of just not doing much, just walking around in circles here in mid lane. You'd expect that it'd just be fine to whirlwind on the wave and just tank tracer damage, but it's not going to be the case. So it's that could have been some damage on the Li Ming, but everything's okay. DNA with the early start on the camp, Abla just seeing what our red team here is up to, and it looks like we might be getting an invade. Cassie about to finish the Sapper camp and pressured off by 3 members actually. It's In Hoffman. Remember that this is a variant, doesn't really do anything until level 4, so might just have to give this one up now. Li Ming and Sonya are coming in. D.Va is not coming to start, so it is 45. Pendulum looks to be the target, getting so much damage on by Reyna, and it will be the first blow going over to red team, but returned already as Varian will fall. Tracer trying to spin out, doesn't get hit by the sleep dart. It will be a 1-for-1 in the end. D.Va in the meantime did push a wave in here, so this was some lost experience. Babstus will come and pick up the very back end of it, but nicely done by In Hoffman, getting the solo laner down as needed in order to prevent things from being a complete disaster. Varian has now reached level 4, going straight onto the Tracer already, has overpowers, as we should see, which is nice. So lots of damage being done by the heroic strike, and that will be the red team now picking up their own Sapper camp. So barely surviving as Toa, as the blue team Sappers were able to connect. Yeah, there's Cassius. Feeling quite a mortal moment. Nagab going in 3v4, I'm not sure if this is the play, as now running out has the parry to survive for the time being. Nordicus has arrived, and Galaxy is still looking pretty immortal. Has now played with a whale, so along with Malfear healing and so much Reno. But now Reyna is the target, running away as fast as he can. Final flight going to get him out thanks to the 25 armor. Very close there. Pulse Bomb was used, so that is now not available. Even trades on the top side, and it will just be Tendling getting the bottom one thanks to health advantage. But Cassia taking a lot of damage, uses the very late medallion, so doesn't really get much from that, and that's a 5-minute cooldown. Not really much effect as you'd already taken damage, you already absorbed all of the crowd control. And here's one of our players that needs to play League, I guess. From D.Va, we do see a rush down for the little bit of sustain and wave clear. Well, there's quite a few minions making their way into a top line. As we have a little bit of a party push, but if D.Va's the target, this isn't really going to work, as the self-destruct will just get used, not even getting the experience from it. Well, Wells out from the next alter phase, so the self-destruct will quite likely just be back up by then. Sappers will be once again picked up by blue team, so even though they were able to defend the Sappers, still a very big difference between the two respawn timers. We'll see how that goes. So, going in onto Mallow, the penetrating round goes wide, so will survive, but you can just see how strong this variant is. Doesn't even matter if Apherion has the Nature's Cure. And now looking for the Reyna, he will fall this time. Galaxy trying to get the kill onto Nagab as well. Not going to quite find it, but very low as the variant. And now looking to completely dive them is Tracer and friends. Ana didn't stand a chance. Variant not doing much better as he will fall as well. And now all of a sudden this game has been blown quite wide open by the blue team. Getting a 4 in 5 minutes. Nordicus nearly dying as well. Sappers will definitely be taking this time, as we have such a lead
now
for the side of the blue team, but we have seen how the red team would win these engagements already. So even though things are looking quite bad, it is very believable that Dustin Hoffman is going to cover. There's the damage onto the Cassia. Doesn't have a medallion from before and will be falling. Nature's Cure not doing anywhere near enough that time. It is, however, an enormous XP lead for the blue team with the level 10, so we might just go for this anyway. Sleep Dart goes wide onto Tyrael. Nagam gets the taunt, but there's not really much to have afterwards. You just need to clear out these sappers, really. If you are Dustin Hoffman, getting very close. There's the pulse bomb. Sanctification dropped as well as Tyrael. He doesn't care about the death zone because he's still smacking on you. And that will be one sapper making its way in. A little bit of damage onto the... onto a core. Diva going for the micro missiles. Pretty much the consensus is that micro missiles is the stronger of the heroics, so can't say I'm too surprised. But the hop is so fun. So it really is quite unfortunate. Now, level 10s have arrived for the red team, and we do see Warwick variants. A little interesting. Valkyrie, absolutely huge onto the Reyna. Gonna be taken down straight away. Ana barely walking it out from the Twilight Dream. No level 10 for any yet, but I don't think it would have really changed anything because Ureda can't tank the Valkyrie for you. So it will be another kill going the way of DNA. Now it's double alter phase when they have the map control, so you would be... It wouldn't be that crazy to guess if this is going to be 10 shots going over for sort of DNA, but Nagam and friends, they are moving their way to see what they can do. Galaxy's already well and truly got the bomb under control, and now Torg going on to Tyrael, who just gets completely blown up. Doesn't even matter if it's the tank or not when there's this many angry members of the red team and the Taunt. So it will be the 5-for-3 trade. We're still seeing the blow-up potential of the variant coming in here, who does once again have the taunt available, so if there's any contest here, it might just be another kill for Dustin Hoffman. Stealing away the saps for themselves this time quite successfully. They do need to walk them in though, because yeah, Cassie's just clearing them out. All it'll take it is a few seconds to do so. We've got a lot more value from them, but because they have got their own sappers to help take back the spawn fort. Another Valkyrie onto the Reyna. Again with the Adrenaline Rush. Use the medallion, but it's too late. You need the medallion to Valkyrie itself. As that will be Reyna 44, I believe the third time. It is indeed, so perhaps not in the best of times is little old Jimmy here. And despite the sappers, still in control of the bottom altar is DNA. So things are going quite well for them still. It is once again an objective on the bottom phase, so Gone's getting so much positional value from the objective with 2 objective phases to it. Now, we do see Mortal Strike from Darian. This is going to be really nice for trying to ensure these blobs are successful. No healing can interfere. Now, Sonya's the target, uses the medallion, but even though it was good medallion usage, it doesn't really matter because there's a full team from the side of DNA on you. And the damage will be there. Nagam now somewhat caught up by the boosters, but will be just fine. But 4 more shots are going over to the blue team, who, yeah, you can't really make your way to mid side because they're just gonna push the bottom fort again. 4 members of the blue team here, looking now just damage from Tyrael. Sword Justin's good. Now the Valkyrie doesn't connect this time, so that is now on cooldown. Reyna on the flank, maybe getting a little bit more confident than you should be. Reyna gonna be just a little bit pesky. It's now Cassie is the target. Medallion will be used, and Tyrael falls during the sanctification usage. Now, Nagam taking so much damage for silence, just lasting so long from the Malfurion, and that will be him falling. Tracer's really feeling herself now. Goes in, finds Diana. Galaxy, with the help of Surgelite, will find Reyna. So, an easy turnaround, despite the first kill going the way of Dustin Hoffman. As we're seeing the power of this sustained team comp here from the blue team. Two very strong sustaining dealers, along with enough Fury to enable them as they go in. Even if you find a tank, it doesn't really matter because
the altars are rising.
The dealers are deceptively tanky in this game. Now it is the objective phase on the top side. Sappers will be picked up by DNA before Envo, so we're going to see a choice from the red team. Do they take the 3 in the bottom and look to make something up and down the 16 town tier, or are they just going to sign defend here? So the position is to have 1 member from each team so far on the bottom. Tenderloin and Marlow, they're presumably going to jump on over as soon as they're finished. Pabas is doing as much as they can, using Raph to try and tank things up. Valkyrie again onto the Reyna. Pulse Bomb will not connect this time though, as Tyrael going a massive sleep though onto the members of DNA, so not able to do anything with the sanctification. Nanoboost will be dropped as the sappers are cleared out, so this should just be the end of the fight. Arrowhead going in once again. Sword Justice is pretty fun like that, as nothing more will really come of this. A really good hold from the side of Dustin Hoffman, not losing the game from there. 16 deaths on the triple altar, but still in a very precarious position because 27-7 is the core health. Absolutely enormous difference in that regard. So we're going to see quite the impressive showing from them later on, if they do wish to come back in this one. Now, the tree from Tenderloin blocks so much damage. Abelar, very effective. Oh no. Valkyrie finds another target, Varian. Gonna be falling as well. Galaxy's been so good. Abelar, mate, you need to calm down. But it will be more members falling. The side of DNA are really feeling themselves here. Oh, the Valkyries are so strong from Galaxy, finding pick after pick after pick with a 60-second cooldown. So incredibly strong. Altar in the bottom. No chance of a contest here by Rain and Sonya, so now the play is around the boss, but we have another problem if you're on the side of Dustin Hoffman. The sappers have respawned for DNA. Those we picked up, Rain will likely see them move towards the boss. Force a split from the side of... Well, actually, we are just seeing the boss started up prematurely by the red team, and I do like this. Looking to take it off before any split can happen. The question is, can they get back in time to defend? DNA have already cleared out the wave, but they might have done it a little bit too early, as now their minion wave is going into nothingness. Level 20 lead for the blue team though, as they... Oh, the sappers! That will be one of them getting in. Self-destruct, trying to do as best it can. Blows up the Sonya. Varian isn't doing much better. Reyna will fall, and that will be the end of the game as the final sappers come in and bombard the core. A very convincing 1-0 lead now for the side of DNA. As it was looking a little bit spooky early on with some of the variant taunts, but in the end, that will be the win going over them. 16 kills to 4, level 20 to 17, and you can just see that it was quite easy despite the few kills that came up from the side of the red team early on. It didn't really matter because as soon as they got advantage of their own, just able to get the fort down straight away in 5 minutes, finding so many kills after they found a small lead and really able to push their advantages. So very nicely done by them. as coming to game 2, we are going to have to see something a little bit different from Dustin Hoffman because, frankly, that was not looking particularly nice for them. Right enough, was their map pick too, so question is, which map do you want to go to now? They will instead go for first pick, so not gonna have the counter pick this time either. DNA, they can go wherever they want. They've got complete freedom to dictate how the next game of the series goes now. So I'm still confused why we see map pick prioritised so highly. Why we don't see it rather. Like with NA is starting to get it, which is quite funny. Not usual that we see NA taking the initiative and these sorts of things, but we are starting to see the map pick selection becoming quite common from them as the power of the counter pick is starting to get acknowledged over there. Not quite happy yet though, as our next map pick will be Soothsayer, please. It will be Sky Temple from DNA, and as far as maps go that you can just blow things away from once you get a lead, this is absolutely one. The temples are so powerful, the boss can be incredibly decisive if you get a lead, so I really like this map choice by DNA. Plays pretty much exactly the way they would want based off how the last one ended up going. Of course, that would mean they have to snowball once again, so we'll have to see if that one ends up happening or not. As it looks like we're nearly ready to go for game number 2 already. Nice and prompt. Makes a pleasant change from some of the other games I've had to cast where we have gone to a little bit of a podcast between games, which is a little bit unfortunate because there's not too much to talk about after one game in the BO3. And oh, don't leave the lobby. So the question is that from what I have is, are we going to see the same sort of style of draft come out from DNA? Because we saw in the last time they were very willing to go for kind of a low wave clear style actually, and just use the threat of them engaging on you to get the wave clear advantage, which is quite effective because it means that you're not losing wave control, but you're also quite capable in the team fights later at going for a single target, which is what we saw time and time again. We saw the Valkyries come in so often, very effectively as well. It looks like that everyone is in the lobby, so shouldn't be too far out from getting started. Just need to wait for these teams to say ready, and then we can get going. In the meantime though, how are you all doing? Only game of the night, so yeah, a few more viewers than normal actually, which is quite nice. It's a little weird though, because like, it's only week 3, right? And it's still pretty early in the season, so I'm also a little bit surprised when, late last night, I look at the calendar and see there's only actually 2 games on today. There was one at 5 and one at 7. It's like, oh, 7 o'clock sounds better. I don't know, because like, I look, and then I just look at the schedule. There's so many on tomorrow, so I don't know. Like, is Saturday the party night in EU? Cause like there are so many games tomorrow. Like, was it like 15 games tomorrow? That's something. So I'll probably end up doing all of those as well, assuming I am able to. See what my schedule's looking like closer to the time. So it looks like one of the teams is asking for a few seconds before we get underway, so see what they're able to put out of a hat, so to speak, as far as the draft goes once we get into it. Sky Table's a really fun map though, as far as drafting goes, because there's so many obnoxious cheeses you can go for. We saw in the last game there was already a Vikings ban. Wonder if maybe we're going to see some priority onto Abatha, onto Samuro, onto possibly even Asmodan. There's so many different options you can go for as far as your dirty split pushes go. As it looks like they are ready to go now, so just need to wait for the old Kiwi to load into the draft. So, okay, there we go. I don't know, that should take too long. Somewhat surprised, but game number 2 now coming out for us here. DNA up 1-0 will be the second pick in this draft, as hopefully alright, well that's pretty simple, no trace of his time. Music should be a bit quieter now. I know I had it quite far down on volume in OBS before, so it's like, well, I've just cranked it all the way down now. It might just be muted, which would be rather funny. Go back to before this stream had music. The May ban remains constant for DNA, as that will once again be banned. Gotta be honest, I kind of prefer the old portrait from May. Not sure if I'm quite a fan of this one. Alright, well that is pretty simple. Just, no, you will not be able to play the same comp. Tyria will also taken away. So Abzar's gonna have to find a new tech as well. All the high priority stuff is still here though. Deve's available, Arnold's available, Cassie's available, Kadima's not available because that will be the final ban coming out. And yeah, there's the survivors for Tolnai. Get rid of last time it was banned away from Mr. Galaxy, but this time we'll just be first picked as a way of denying it, which I can understand as well. And here's mentioned last time that Imperius would likely come in as main tag more into the out, and that's what we see. UL and Imperius, the response is Murden and Abatha. Savants and Abatha are kinda out. They're kind of opposing goals as far as the way the game wants to be played, but can be quite annoying later on. With jeez, get Saber out of here. Can be quite annoying to just dive onto a backliner. Savants already does a lot of single target damage, add Abatha, maybe it's enough to just get kills on its own, so it makes sense. And Vikings will be banned away, not going to have any sort of split pushing to match Abatha. Now, we're probably, I mean, that would have been really interesting if you see Vikings when you already have Uriel and Imperius, but now we're going to see something from DNA. And it will be Kael'thas. Why Kael'thas? I'm guessing they just want some more lockdown with the gravity lapse after the...
I will fight to my last breath.
Oh, this is really interesting. After the Imperial Spear, as Greymane and Rhaegar picked up, so I suppose this would lead me to believe Greymane, or possibly even Muradin, is going to be the side laner for
The wait is over.
I bet too, which is rather interesting. Surely there was a pick that would have made a little bit more sense. Maybe Thrall would plays very similar to what Greymane wants to do in many of these situations. Have of course Earthquake as well for the lockdown, or if you're feeling really bad, you can go Sundering, but I don't know, like, they're not gonna have an offlane with innate sustain, gonna be relying on bringing Abathur up to the solo lane quite a bit, if you have to guess. And then Cassia just about things out for some DNA. Makes complete sense. Looked one last game and Cassia is completely fine with melee brawling, with charge strikes, with Surge of Light, with all of the nonsense that she has, honestly. So quite possible to receive the Lightning Ball as the hero of choice this time, as we will be now getting into game number 2.
For your ceaseless battle, if you wish to live.
A little bit of an interesting draft here from the red team, but for now, in the blue side, it is DNA, one up in the series, looking to close things out here on Sky Temple. Tenzoin again playing the Malfurion, and Galaxy play Cassia. Now we have Marlowe playing Kael'thas, Mac the Kids, main tank Imperius, possibly actually, as Ablar is for Uriel, who was our tank last time, so we'll see what happens there. As on the red team, we do have the side of Dustin Hoffman, Toll Knight playing Sylvanas, Stark playing Rhaegar, Naga playing Muradin. There will be Nordicus in the offlane with this Greymane here. And Barbastus, the Babathur, is playing the Abathur. And so is a roll swap coming up for DNA. Abra going into the side lane now with the Uriel Dauntless. It's been nerfed to 35, but don't get me wrong, it's still really obscene power. As we have once again the wave clear lead early on going to DNA. Not about Galaxy, but nothing really happens. Just grouping up with and playing with the Kael'thas. Being such a quick push advantage for the side of DNA. Like, still, like, Stark's on the camp. And what we are seeing though is Nagam has moved up, so doing the split map in a sense by going for the fast bruisers. Cassia, okay, they've already got the bottom. How many speeds have you thrown in this wall, man? It's already gone. Galaxy Mac just looking to clear out the camp, as now we have a top push coming out. Making really good progress though on the bruiser camp. Uh-oh. They might get it in time, as the wave has now arrived. See how quickly Toll Knight and Nagam can push it out pretty quickly, as it turns out, thanks to possession. So now damage onto Naga, pushed back into the turrets, but not be completely fine. But now Sylvanas has used the trait. It's in the perfect position for DNA. Told I will sidestep the Gold episode will survive, but just look at how little this camp is actually doing. Once again, I've talked about this so much, the importance of the lane positioning when these camps survive. Right in front of the DNA gate. As it's now a disaster for Dustin Hoffman. There's a full health bruiser camp making its way in. Sure be disabled by Sylvanas, but this is so much time. Well, actually, it's just a lot of KO fast damage onto Sylvanas first of all. Alba kind of feeling himself. Going to jump in, but Hammer will not connect. Now Nordica is potentially called out, but we'll get up and clear the camp for the time being as Galaxy just left in the bottom lane, going to be clearing out these waves. Probably going to see him go mid lane, but actually going to be Alpha's not going to be clearing this, so just going to get the bottom wall as now the symbiote is here, but this is far too late to save the front wall. Now I'm sitting on the top temple, Mac sitting on middle, Toll Knight maybe going to test his luck, will not do so though. Naga jumps out to safety. Stumble doesn't connect, and we do see that Sledgehammer is for talent choice. I'm guessing just for the additional Stillball quest progress, as I can't really think of why you would need the PvE damage in this game. But it will be a trade of the temples as well. Cassie pushes bot lane. So it's really nice if you are a fan of DNA in the moment, as they're once again getting the nice and early push onto the bottom fort. Getting a little bit of deja vu from last game as now here comes Stark, pretty far out on the Rhaegar. Will slice some gravity laps, but that's the Rootin, so I'm going to take quite the walkabout, but it does get out. Now back for Kid, possibly in trouble. Nation's Fury out to come and cleanse him. So much damage from Cassidy, which is ridiculous, onto Tolnai. Not able to take the Horning Wave back in. In the meanwhile, mid-wave, again, will be mostly caught by Alba, so not much lost on that front. And the same as before, this Cassia just able to brawl so easily. Okay, we have a few interesting talents here from Calfast. NG Royal and Sunfire Jump. Could see a cheeky Pyro come out. That'll be rather fun. That's what you normally see when you're taking the Sunfire Enchantment. Just more spell power to drop the tactical nuke for his Pyro Blast on people. Meantime, Alba going to be pushing on top lane, looking to get the well down with this wave most likely. But no, mounts up on the Holy Steed, will be coming to get the mid lane experience. The play though at the moment is onto the bottom fort. Mule doing his best to heal up, but this is Storm Town, Hero Talent, Valkyrie straight away onto building. The root doesn't connect though. Back going in, charges in, doesn't find the pickup, but here's the Pyro Blast. Sylvanas were full. How about getting out of the fort, so we're seeing the run back by DNA of the same thing. They've got themselves to bomb fort. Okay, it took them an extra minute this time, but it doesn't matter. And now that's the whole thing level 10, but Mac is sitting on the temple. We see Kalfas moving up to clear the top side of the map. Try and free up UL as fast as possible. Mac making a run out from the temple. Looks like it'll be just fine. Hoarding Arrow goes a little bit wrong. Only connects onto Imperius's. Galaxy doing as much damage as can possibly do on the Cassia. Now Mac possibly going to look at something. Flash Rang, it's been nerfed, but still pretty good, so maybe just able to blow some up around. Barbara's Pop's ultimate evolution had enough of waiting around Galaxy, getting off that temple, and you have to imagine they're quite okay with giving up the last remaining shots in exchange for the clones go down. Alba going to be just pushing out mid though, not going to look for any sort of collapse. Nordicus will be fine. The same cannot be said though. So Nagami on its way. Oh, I've got this one. Vega knocked up into the air. Pop Sunblast, but that's not going to do anything for you. Pyro onto the Greymane. Goes out of Worgen form, so doesn't tank it with the armor, but we'll be fine. As the play is the boss, then I have to agree with it. As the enemy team is missing. There's no clone as well, so very nice and early boss. Going to see them marching down the bottom lane. Presumably going to pick up the siege camp as well. Mala going to grab the mid wave like a good boy. Not going to be dropping any XP, so 13 talent tier advantage as well with this push. And this is going to be quite dangerous. Nagab once again picked up. Gonna be cleansed as runs away. Valkyrie not gonna find anything because Alba knocks him with a hammer, but knocking Rhaegar with a hammer is good enough. Yrel will fall though. Silence not able to use the heroic as Greymane dies to the Chaos damage. Babassa's trying so hard to find Malfurion with the clover. Will not be able to do so, so it is a 1 for 2. And now the boss and friends are just marching down on the bottom keep. This is not looking good if you are Dustin Hoffman. It's not looking good as the keep is taking so much damage. Now Rhaegar has respawned. Now Greymane's on the way. Mac will not actually find anything with the charge this time. And might... Oh. We saw Bloodlust apparently. Maybe it just came back. Either way, it's used as Macfakid will fall. But that is a 9-minute keep for DNA. After such an enormous lead once again is our blue team, as Nagab doing as much as they can to deny these shots, but here comes Galaxy, here comes Tenderloin. Don't think it's the fight you want to take as the Murder gets half of the temple though before abandoning. Now, Tolnai Nordicus doing as much as they can onto Alba, but will be able to find the kill. They are once again getting a few more shots though as Macfakid looks to be the target. Stark though, gonna make an Iron Man reference we couldn't think of one time. Smacking away at the catapult as Ultimate Evolution is used on Muradin. I'm a little confused by what this is. Perhaps just a misclick is now Abla going to be making the great escape. Use the medallion to ensure the Ardent goes off. Stark once again not long for this world. As Abathur going to just burrow out. Nagab just running to the hills at this point, trying to buy as much time as possible. Might actually be allowed to leave because the DNA want this bruiser camp to just get the push on in. Now there's still 16 Nagab going on to the temple. No one's stopping the Muradin, so I do like this. Just getting as much as possible. The question though is, can Muradin get out at this point? Has been spotted. Still giving them the old walkout. Uses a medallion. That's a 5-minute cooldown. I don't think I can agree with that. But Kelfast overgrounded that play. Just taking quite a while. Cassia falls as Nordicus and Abathur find the 2v2 kill. Monin eventually falls. Poor dwarf. He was doing well, but so much time to. So much to be obnoxious, but it's not to be near. Nordicus does find the capture, so that one will not be taken away from them. choice is well forsaken by Sylvanas, which I do understand. Excuse me. You just look at the hearts you see on the enemy team and you really want to have another medallion. And that's what Will Forsaken gives you. It's a better medallion. Lasts longer, has the movement speed too nice and speedy as Miss Sylvanas is now. Stark and friends, they've called out Galaxy. Use the medallion. That's a 2-man spear though. And so it's not going to be looking good if you're the side of the red team. Stark is going, gets the bottles off this, so Nordicus not fully pulled in by the spear. Clone going to do absolutely nothing as it just buys a little bit of time, but another spear lands. Nagab is gone. Toll Knight not going to fool anyone with that Haunting Wave, as there is just Nordicus and his slug trying to defend against the incoming onslaughts, but that might be... Oh, that might not be happening here. Just hiding in the Hall of Storm's not going to ruin his KDA anymore, looks like. Now, just gonna get smacked away by the hammer. Esports are starting to come in, but is not anywhere near in time. Now trying to do what they can, but it is not meant to be. 2-0 win for the side of DNA. Very nicely done by them. And just like the last one, it looks like a pretty convincing lead for the side of DNA for basically the entire time. Again, they managed to find the nice and quick for 6 minutes this time instead of 5 minutes. Is my stats page going to load? There it does. So 9 kills to 3. I guess that's a little bit closer. It's a ratio of 3 to 1 instead of 4 to 1 like last time. Add a bit closer on the level difference as well, but still very convincing win for DNA. Playing it very nicely, both in a macro and micro sense and draft sense. So all three fronts, they looks pretty nice. And Naga, Remblem, Officer Mudge. I don't speak European. I don't know what this is. Something about Nagab though did had some nice and fun plays on Murden, but it was not enough for them to win this series. As now DNA 2-1, off a pretty good start for the season. Might see them in the... Well, if they can keep it up, there's a good chance we do see them in the playoffs this season. Now, doesn't look like I'm getting an answer here. We'll give it a few more minutes though before I completely give up on it. I'm a little intrigued by the Energy Royal choice. So, like, I can understand you want Sunfire Enchantment because you want Pyroblast. And you want Pyroblast just to prevent the Sylvanas from wanting to go on you, but... I mean, I guess that's why you have Energy Royal, right? Just for... Because you don't really care about the range in that case. I suppose it adds up. Everything else, though, pretty standard for the most part. Just waiting to see if anyone on the side of DNA wants to do an interview. Now, G's phone, thanks for casting. Alright, so, looks like that will be us done for today. There will not be an interview, which means I need to find someone to host. There's no other games on today, so I don't get it quite that easy. Is anyone who is on at the moment? I don't need to give it to someone that big. Alright, let's go and host South Cali. Very simple. Yeah, let's go and host South Cali. Give it to a bit of a smaller streamer.